Welcome to Mountain Man Explore the Truth. How's everybody doing today or tonight, depending on the time you're listening to the podcast? I hope you are doing well, my friends. Today we're going to be welcoming on Tim Gayheart. He's a Ohio Bigfoot researcher, and he's a knower. And so I've heard him on other shows too, and I remember hearing him on a few podcasts in my past time, probably about a year ago, I think. And I remember bits and pieces of his, research and experience and all that. So I'm looking forward to going to bring him on and be refreshed on some of the stuff he's got to say. So it's pretty awesome that Tim's going to take his time to come on my show. I really appreciate it, and I am honored to have another researcher come on the show. To that point, guys, on the researchers, I have said in the past that I used to say certain things about researchers, but that's when I was just getting fresh into it. I have a lot of respect for researchers, foot's on the ground. I just don't have a lot of respect for the researchers, the ones who call themselves researchers using computers and, such and such, not actually going out there and looking for evidence and all that stuff. So I really appreciate the ones who are going out there, foot's on the ground. And I'm starting to realize I think I might be a researcher myself, a podcaster / researcher. But I'm not quite there yet, so I'm not going to call myself a researcher because I don't really have much to show. I'm just going out there, investigating some areas, looking into it. I just find it fascinating, looking into Bigfoot and all other things. So, like I said, guys, the show is based on anything. My main subject is Bigfoot. I'm looking into the Dogman. I'm looking into paranormal, UFO. Anything's welcome to the show. So be sure to, check it out. And if you're interested in coming on, and if you want to share your experience or research, email me at mountainmanett@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook. Look for Blake Botel. Be sure to connect with me, guys. And if you're not sure, reach out to the guests that I had on my show. They seem to all had a good experience with me. I'm I'm respectful to all my guests and what they want, and I've become friends with these guests, and it's awesome. And that's what it's all about, making friends. Trying to keep the intro short for you guys. Sorry that, went about 2 minutes or more, so I apologize. I just wanted to plug in a little bit of stuff. So anyways, if you made it this far, we'll be bringing on Tim shortly, and I really do appreciate you guys checking out the show. So if you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe and bell button so you know when the shows drop. And please comment. I really appreciate it. And most of all, share the show. And on Spotify, please hit that follow button and rate it 5 stars. I got quite a bit of followers on there, but I don't think they realize to hit that 5-star. That really helps bring the show up in the charts. So please, I appreciate it if you would hit that 5 stars. It only takes a second. Thank you so much. Yeah, guys, I have more to come. I'm trying to get more guests lined up. I got another one for the next day. More to come. So stay with me, guys. I really hope you enjoy what I'm doing. It's about getting the truth out and people's research out and their experience out. It's just, we're all in it. And I really enjoy you guys, making friends with it. And I enjoy you guys giving me the support. Thank you so much. And all right, bear with me here. We'll be bringing Tim on. Thank you. Today we welcome on Tim Gayheart. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it's my honor to have you on. So I've heard you definitely on a few shows, and I was like, I think I know who this guy is. I was like, oh, right on. I'm definitely going to bring him on. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come on, Tim.
I'm glad we got it set up. I know we've been trying to do this for a while.
Yes, with, techno issues with the social media, sometimes, your messages come through and sometimes they don't. It glitches out. And sometimes I wonder if they're just trying to stop us from looking into this.
Oh, yeah, the government's got their hands in it.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. Go ahead and tell people about yourself. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be familiar.
I'm Tim Gayheart from the Ohio Bigfoot, the co-founder of the Ohio Bigfoot Researching Group on Facebook, and I also have a YouTube channel. It's the same as the Facebook. It's Ohio Bigfoot Researchers. Been doing research since 2021. My wife started the group in 2022, and we're up to about 5,200 members now.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm impressed with that. That's a great number, and that shows that a lot of people are supporting you, man. So that's awesome.
And we've removed quite a few people too, because we don't allow bullying or trolling.
Oh yeah.
If you see something that's posted in the group, which we monitored it. I monitor it a lot,
You
and
know,
I don't let no fake stuff be put in there. And if you have to make a rude comment, you're gone.
yeah, see, that's the problem with our, the cryptid world is that we get a lot of people that are just in there to trying to make fun or fake stuff on us, or I don't know. I don't know why they do it. You just got to keep an eye out for them. And sometimes they blend in pretty well too, and you don't notice them until later on down the road.
All it takes is one blurry picture, and you'll find where the trolls are.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's the
I
problem
draw them
too.
out quite a bit.
Yeah, looking into the technology too, you're like, oh no, we gotta have more problems now, especially the way AI is and all that. You're like, there's good and bad things with AI though. Some that can kind of tell you what's legit and what's not.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, go ahead and talk about what got you into it. What happened to you and your wife?
Well, what we got into it, we took a trip to Salt Fork,
Okay.
and we watched some of these shows about Bigfoot, like the mountain monsters and stuff like that. And we heard that there was sightings at Salt Fork. We joined a group, and they was having a group camp out for the weekend, and we ended up going down to it, and that was in April of 2021. And first day we was there, we was out looking at the park because neither one of us had ever been there. And we went to an area, and well, I had my first full body sighting while I was in that area.
Oh
And
wow.
that's what got me started. And then my wife seen one the same day, same area. A few minutes later than the one I seen, and that's how we got started in Bigfoot research.
Wow. And you how many have you guys seen in through your lifetime?
Probably close to 20. We probably
Whoa.
got pictures of probably, I think, at least 8 to 10 different individuals, if not more.
Wow. That's awesome. So you probably gotten good look at some of these creatures and what do you think they are? I mean, what do they look like to you? Do they look more human or ape like? What's your opinion on that?
Well, the ones that we've been seeing, we're in Ohio, so they're the grass man. So they're more human looking than ape.
Okay.
I don't think they're really an ape species like they trying to claim for all these years. I think they're a humanoid cross. Some of them is more human than animal in them.
Wow. I'll have to agree with you on that. I've always leaned towards more human like and something else. And I mean, I get why people will say ape like because they're really hairy, but you know what? Some of us human men are pretty hairy. So, but yeah, can you tell us about your encounter? I mean, what exactly happened? I mean, what was leading up to it?
Well, we ended up going down to Salt Fork, and then, like I said, we went to this area. It's called Hozak's Cave,
Hmm.
and we parked in the parking area. It's a man-made lake, and there is dead end road there where they when they made the lake they ended the road. And this is a hilly area, and I was standing behind the car where we was parked watching the hill, and she went down to the lake. There's like a small beach. It's backwater, but there's like a sandy area. And she looks for shells and rocks, and she was down there looking for that and tracks and stuff. I was standing there behind the car watching the hill, smoking a cigarette, and the ridge line comes down right at an angle toward the lake right there. And I was watching it. Then I seen this big black 8 to 9 foot tall thing step out behind a big oak tree. And this oak tree's probably at least 30 to 40 inches around. I mean, it was an old growth oak.
Mhm.
and it stepped out, and I'm looking at this thing, and it walks across to across there, and it's probably about 15 to 20 foot to the next big tree, which was a beech tree. And I'm watching it walk across there, and I mean, I'm standing there arguing with myself. Am I seeing what I'm seeing? And I'm like, I took my glasses off, rubbed my eyes, and put them back on, and I'm like, did I just see that? And I'm like, that was a Bigfoot, and it was solid black from head to toe. And I kept standing there debating, did I really see that, or is my eyes and mind playing a trick on me?
Mm-hmm.
Then I kept watching. Once it went behind the tree, I didn't see it no more. And then I said, well, should I holler for her to come up here, or should I go down there and get her? Then I said, well, I said to myself, well, I'll go down there and get her. It might still be standing behind that tree. It might stay there. And I went down, got her, told her what I seen. And we come back up where I was standing, and I put her exactly where I was standing, and I pointed out for the tree it come out from behind, and I pointed to the shoulder of the tree where it walked across and went behind. And she said, really? I said, yeah. I said, I ain't believing it myself, but I sure did see it. And she said, well, let's walk on down here toward the end. So we started down that way, and there's a guardrail where they got the roadblock off. We went around the guardrail, and there's this fallen part of a tree there. It was probably about 18 foot long.
Oh wow.
It's about 8 to 10 inches around. And she told me, now, babe, don't trip over that, because I have to use the cane to walk now. My legs and back don't work right.
Yeah.
And so I got across it. We started on down through there, and I kept watching the hillside as walking down through there, and I seen these animal trails coming off the hill, which I call a slide. And I was walked over towards them because there's an embankment where they cut the road through there. And I'm looking at this and looking for tracks on it. Well, there was no deer tracks or nothing. It was just completely slick. And so we walked on down. Then here's another one. I'm looking at it, and there was a little well, sapling, little green tree sprout there. It was probably about a foot and a half tall, had a fork in it, and I'm looking around it. There's no deer tracks, nothing in this slide.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, ain't that a track right there? And I took my cane and pushed the little sapling to the side. And she said, where? I said, right at the front end of my cane right there. I said, ain't that toe prints? And she's looking. She said, yeah, that's toe prints. Yeah, that's a track. It was about 9 inches long, probably about 3.5 inches wide at the
Okay.
front, about 3 inches wide at the back. And she took pictures of it. So I'm still standing there, and she said, well, I'm going to walk on down that way a little bit toward where the road dead ends at the lake. So she started down there, and I'm still looking at this track, and I'm like, it had to be a juvenile. And I'm like, well, that ain't a human track. A human couldn't step, because it was the embankment's about 6 foot high.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it was about 3 foot up on the embankment. I'm like, a human can't step that high on that steep. Then there wasn't there another track, so it had to step from there to the top. And I'm watching it, looking at it, and looking up the hill, watching. She starts going, babe, babe, babe. I turn and I said, what? She said, I see one. I see one. I look at her and I'm like, where's your phone? She said, in my back pocket. I said, well, get it out and take a picture. And I said, I'll work my way to you. So I started walking real slow down to her. She was about 60 feet, 50, 60 feet from me. I get down to where she's standing at. She's done took 2 or 3 pictures. She said, it's a little one. It's up there by that big white tree. I said, you mean that big beech right up there? She goes, yeah, it's right at the bottom of it. And I looked, and I said, yeah, there it is. There's a little black one.
Wow.
It's he was probably 3 foot, 3.5 foot, somewhere in that area there. It was a juvenile.
Definitely a youngin.
Yeah. And it had one of its arms up on the side of the tree. She said it was looking at me. I seen his face and everything until I got this phone out to take a picture of it, then turned its head and started looking up the hill. And then it wasn't a few seconds. We heard like when you pop your tongue, make that pop noise with your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
That little thing went around the tree just getting. And we standing there and waiting to see it going up the hill, and it never did going up the hill. I said, "Is it sitting right behind the back of the tree, or what?" She said, "Well, let me walk down this way a little bit, see if I can see from a different angle, see if it's sitting still behind that tree." So she started walking on down toward the dead end. I'm standing there watching to see if it comes out behind the tree or goes up the hill or where it, looking for it. Never did see it. She goes all the way down to the dead end. And I said, well, it must have either went up the tree or went directly straight up the hill behind the tree where I couldn't see it. So I walked on down to the dead end where she was at. Then we come back up the road. Now we come back over top of that log and by the guardrail. We decided we was going to go over to Bigfoot Ridge. It's another area where they've been seen down there. It's a primitive camping area.
Okay.
And so we go over to that area, and we was at one of the campsites there, and there wasn't nobody there, and they had a bathroom and stuff, so picnic tables. So we decided to sit down at the picnic table. We could see down over the hill, down in the valleys, but up close to the hill toward us, it was pretty thick. You couldn't see nothing down toward into the valley. And we kept hearing things popping branches and walking, but never could see nothing. She took pictures of the area all over there. We probably sat there for a good hour and a half. And she said, well, let's go check something else out. So we start out, and they got a big sign there that says Bigfoot Ridge and all this about the park. She said, well, let's stop. I'll take your picture by that and stuff. We was doing our tourism thing. Like you taking pictures. So I
Mm-hmm.
get out and I go over there and she takes my pictures and stuff. So we coming on down and we come back to the main road. It comes through the whole park. And she said, let's go back over to that cave area. It's getting a little later. One of them might come back out or let us see it. I said, all right. So we start over toward the cave area. As we're driving down the road, I get this thought in my head. Like, I look at her and I say, well, Sally's going to come out and she's going to show her hairy boobs to me. My wife, she's driving. She looks at me. Who is Sally and why has she got hairy boobs? I said, that's the name of the Bigfoot and it's female. She's going to come out and show herself. She looks at me and says, shut up. You're crazy. So we get over there, back over to the cave area, parking the same exact parking spot where we parked when the first time we was there. We get out, walk down around, was going to go down through there where we seen the little one. Walked around the guardrail, and I'm like, whoa, just a minute here. I said, that where'd that log go? It was laying right here. I know that log was there when I went in and I come back out and you told me not to trip over it. She'd already walked past where it was laid the first time. She goes, well, I didn't even know that it was gone. And I'm like, where did he go? And so I started looking. Well, here it is down the road there. Here's 3 pieces of log laying there. And I'm like, is that the same log? I walk over and I'm looking. I said, yeah, this is the same log. It was broken 3 pieces, about 5 to 6 foot pieces. And it's laying like in a triangle shape.
Oh
I'm like,
wow.
now, ain't no human being breaking this log. And because, like I said, it was around 8 to 10 inches around. And I'm like, and it wasn't rotten, it was solid. And I'm like, there were no marks, there was no axe or nothing on it. It was jagged edge broke. And I'm like, ain't no way that a human being broke this. I wonder what broke this and put this over here out of the way.
Yeah, that's interesting. A triangle shape, huh?
No,
Huh. You got pictures of that too, or no?
no,
Okay.
I don't know why I didn't take pictures of it.
The only reason I ask is I think I've seen some people give reports of that too, was seeing like big, trees being snapped and are making odd shapes with it, like an X, even triangle shapes. So I found that when once I heard you say that, I was like, that's something I've heard of before too. People seen.
Yeah, we didn't get no pictures of it. I should have. Well, I was new to this stuff.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. When I was first getting out there looking into some things, and I find odd in the structures, and find some strange things on the ground, and I never thought about taking my phone out and snapping some pictures because you're in the moment. You're like, you're enjoying nature, and you're just not thinking about that.
Yeah. So we walked on down through there after we found the log there, and
Mm-hmm.
went, got back down there to the slide where the small footprint was. I was thinking, well, something had to come off the hill or something break that log. And I'm looking on that by the little footprint, and I'm like, looky here. There was a 17-inch track right beside of the little track.
Wow.
And I'm like, that wasn't there earlier. I said, where's your phone? Let's see the picture and make sure that I ain't seeing things. She said, no, there wasn't no other track there. She pulls out her phone. We go through the pictures, look at the picture. No, that track wasn't there when we took the pictures just a few hours before that. So she took some more pictures of the big track, and we go all the way down to the dead end. We're watching the hill and all that. We come back up to the behind the car, and there was a flattened area between the hill and there's like a ditch. It comes from the cave. Then the trail of the cave is on over a little further. And I said, well, let's go up here in this flat area and see if there's any tracks. Because the park had brought a payloader in there and they'd had moved the dirt. I don't know if that was people was throwing trash out there and they cleaned it up or what.
Mm-hmm.
But we're walking up through there and I'm on one side of the skidder tracks and she's on the other side toward the hill. We're looking for tracks up through there, see if it come out that way, because we never found no track where it come off the hill. Just one where it went back up the hill. And there's deer tracks and all kinds of animal tracks in there, but there wasn't no Bigfoot track. And while I'm over here still looking at the side I'm on, she goes, babe. I go, what? She goes, there's one standing right up here in front of me. I said, where is your phone? In my back pocket. I said, get it out and start taking pictures. So she gets it out, starts taking pictures, and I'm working my way over to her. And I get over there where she's at, and I was standing on her right side, and there was bushes there. And I said, well, I don't see it. She said, well, here, get right in front of me and look straight ahead. So I stepped in front of her, looked straight there. There it stood, big black female. And she was standing there just plain as day. Wouldn't stand behind a tree or nothing, whole body standing there. And I'm like, wow. And my wife goes, you think I can get closer to get a better picture? I said, I doubt it. I said, you take a couple steps and she's probably gone. So I said, oh, well, you can try it. So I stepped over to back to her right just a little bit so she could go on forward. And time I'd turned my head to step off and turn back around, she was already gone. She said, that was a big female. She has some big boobs too. And I'm like, I told you she was going to come out and show herself. And I'm like, that's 3 we've seen just that day. And I'm like, ain't nobody ever going to believe none of this, even with the pictures. And I'm like, well, we know what we've seen. We got pictures of it. And we know for a fact 2 of them we've seen with pictures to back it up, plus pictures of the tracks. So I'm like, we know what we've seen.
Yeah, that's awesome that you both seen it together. That's just, that makes it more legitimate and sharing the same description of what you saw. That's awesome. Not everybody gets a
Yeah.
chance to see with somebody else. A lot of times they're by themselves, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, did you ever have any pretty intense encounters with these things, or no?
Well, I mean, it got kind of iffy one time we was down there.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's been a couple times. Yeah, it's got a little iffy. One time we had to leave because they was throwing rocks.
Yeah, I've heard stories of them throwing rocks and throwing limbs, and I feel like sometimes they do that to shoo you away from their area, maybe, or they got a little baby nearby, maybe. So yeah, I've always try to ask researchers too if they ever had a really intense situation with these things, because a lot of times, I'll hear stories where it gets real intense and they back out and leave and come back another time because they could tell they weren't welcome. Um, or you run into a bad one, and that could be pretty scary. And a lot of times I hear people running into them having a peaceful encounter, nothing seriously happens. So that's why I ask, because there's either a good or bad one going on.
Yeah, we had a couple times we've had to leave. Yeah, they got well. The one time that the first time we had to do that, we was down at Salt Fork. It was in either May or June that year. It was just a few weeks later or a month later when we was down there. I know we was down there like 4 or 5 times that year,
Hmm.
and we went to another camp out because they have a camp out. There's different groups has camp outs every month down there at Salt Fork. Bigfoot groups. And we went to another camp out, and then we was going to go out on a night investigation, which we didn't know very many people at the time because it was only like the second or third one we'd ever been to. And everybody after the campfire decided they was going out on night investigation. They split up, going teams and stuff, different places. Well, there was some that was going up to the place. It's the handicap picnic area. They have restrooms and picnic tables and pavilions, grills, and stuff up there. And I knew I didn't have to walk no trails in because I couldn't do trails. And I'm like, I wonder if they care if we go up there with them. And we asked them. They said, "Yeah, we all meet up there." So we all left the campground. Everybody going their different directions. We get up to the handicap. Me and her pull in and park. Get out. Go over into the pavilion where the restrooms are. Picnic table was sitting right by a grill, and the grill was still glowing red. Somebody just left there before it got dark because it's already dark now at that time. And the the charcoal still glowing in the grill. You could smell what the hamburgers and everything they cooked. So we sat down waiting on people to come up there to do sit around and investigate. Well, nobody never did show up. So we're sitting there and it's all mowed areas in two different directions there, and you can watch probably almost 100 yards in each direction. But and then we was just sitting there, and all at once it got kind of quiet. Quiet. There wasn't no bugs or nothing, no crickets or anything. And all at once we heard a whoop over behind us, down in the valley over behind us. I'm like, "Did you hear that?" She goes, "Yeah, that was a whoop." And I was like, "Yeah, that was the first vocal I ever heard out doing investigating." And we're sitting there looking. She's sitting on my left side of me on the picnic table, and I'm looking down in front of us. She goes, "We have company." I mean, why didn't see nobody coming up in there in the vehicles? I said, "What do you mean company?" She said, "Look over your left shoulder." I look over my left shoulder. There's this big black thing standing in the grass. He's about 60 feet from us, or 70. I'm like, "Whoa, that's a big boy." This one's about 12 foot tall, and he's about 5 foot wide across the shoulders.
Oh wow.
Oh my God, that's a big one. And we had a flashlight. I took the flashlight and I started it about his kneecaps, and I started shining up, and I got about mid chest. She said, "Down, don't shine it in his eyes." I'm like, I ain't going to shine it in his eyes. I don't want to make him mad. He's too close. And we looked at it, solid black, humongous thing. It had to weigh over 1,000 pounds. I mean, I'm 6 foot, almost 6'3", and about 290. It made me look little, and I'm like, that's a big one. So we sitting there. She said, "You think we ought to go?" I said, "No, it's not doing nothing right now. It's just standing there looking at us. It's figuring out." I said, "It's probably smelling this food, and it's figuring out if we're eating it or if we're cooking it or what." And so I turn and start watching the other way a little bit, probably 30 seconds. See if anything else coming out down in front of us. Turn back around. Well, he's moved about 10 foot closer. And I'm like, I hit him, turned the flashlight on, hit him about mid chest, and I'm like, okay, you're getting close, too close. That's close enough. So I turned the light back off. And wife says, "You think we ought to leave?" I said, "He's not doing nothing right now." I said, "Yeah, he moved a few feet closer." So I turned and looked the other way for another 10 or 15 seconds because I'm getting pretty nervous now. I know he's moving. Turn around and look. Well, he's done gained about 10 or 12 more foot closer. I hit him with the flashlight again. I said, "Okay, I know you're curious, but there's no food here. I know you smell it. Don't come no closer now. We ain't here to hurt you or harm you in no way." So I turned the light back off. And she's getting really nervous then because it's done come in about 20 some feet closer. It's less right around 40 feet from us now. So I just turned my head, then turned right back. He's done moved again. He's done coming up about another 10 foot. I hit him with the flashlight again. She said, "I think we ought to be leaving." So just as I turned the flashlight off, he went, "Ugh." I said, "Yeah, it's time to go. He's wanting to come check us out. He smells that food." So we got up and left, got in the car and left. And then we was coming out of the park, and there was a minivan about 70 to 80 yards in front of us, going down the main road to come out of the park. We was headed to go to the motel. It's about 10:15, 10:20 then. And we're driving down through, and I see this deer coming out of this woods flying on the left side on my right side. And I holler, "Deer." And she hits the brakes. This deer comes almost to the blacktop, turns, comes toward the car, goes down my side of the car, and I'm watching it as it going down the side of the car, and it turns and it goes around behind the car. And just as I turn my head to look back at the road in front of us, I get the glimpse of this whole back, shoulder, legs, butt, and all going into the woods on the left side of the road. And I'm like, "Did you just see that?" She turns and looks at me. She said, "I seen it go clean across the road in front of the car." I said, "What?" It couldn't have been more than 25 foot in front of the car when it went across the road.
Wow, that was pretty close.
It was a big brown one. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. It was chasing that deer, and the deer had enough sense not to run directly in front of the car. it turned and went down the side of the car. It zigs to try to get away from it, and it runs straight across the road in front of the car. I'm like, this is unreal. There's two of them. I said, what is it about us seeing more than one at a time? It's just crazy.
It is. I mean, hearing that, it sounds like you guys have a pretty hot area. You try to keep that area to yourself, right? Or you got multiple areas you're researching.
We research different areas. We got a
Okay.
couple around here where we live. That's about 3 hours from where we live.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of Bigfoot people go there. I mean, that's place is known for it. You ever hear of Don Keeney?
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, he's wrote many of books and stuff, and that's where his research area was for years down in that area.
Wow, it's
And
pretty active area then, huh?
oh yeah, Finding Bigfoot's been there. Expedition Bigfoot, Dudge, the what is it at the
Oh, is
on
it
National
Doug Hijack or?
Big Monster Quest, and all
Yeah,
of them's
yeah,
been
yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah, I've had Doug Hijack on my show before. He's a really interesting guy. He's definitely doing it a different way, and I think it's awesome what he's doing with his camera setup. But I think these things might shy away from these cameras and know what they are, and they show themselves when they want to. Is what I'm starting to add up myself.
Well, you try to record at night and stuff with a camera, you got to have IR lights and all that. That's the same thing that's on trail cameras and stuff is IR lights.
Yeah,
That's a beacon to them. They see that for miles.
yeah, because I'm starting to hear more and more people have issues getting them on cameras and videos because of that. So it makes sense because these things are probably looking at what is that, but now they're starting to get to know what it is. So, so what's your thought on this woo thing going on around? Do you think there's something connected to these creatures of like possibly coming in and out different realms, or you just think they're just a basic natural creature of this world?
Well, there's your flesh and blood group. Then there's your group that they have abilities.
Okay.
Well, I'm in the middle.
It's kind of where I'm at too. I'm in the middle, because before I was just set on there's just something natural that's been here a long time. But the more I dig deep into this, listen to people's encounters, listen to researchers, and it's starting to open my mind even more. And I'm like, wow, there's something more going on with this, almost like spiritual.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people's encounters about seeing different things, seeing them completely disappearing.
hmm
And I've seen people that I know real well that's caught pictures.
okay,
They was taking videos and was taking pictures of their wife fishing and stuff, and these things in the across the pond from where she's at showed up in the pictures and everything, and it looked like cellophane wrap,
oh
the
really?
light reflecting off it and stuff. Then all once you see this black looking head and shoulders poke out away from it, and I'm like, wow. And
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
find
I've
that.
seen other people out of different states and stuff that's got pictures of uh, them like fading in and out and all that. I just keep an open mind.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because I'm starting to hear more and more researchers opening their mind to it because there is people that are just basic on one thing. And that's what I'm starting to love more about researchers like yourself. A lot more of them are starting to open their mind, and I got a lot of respect for people like yourself because when it comes to people with one mindset on it, it kind of strikes a nerve on me because I'm like, you got to open your mind because it's you don't know, we don't know, and until
Yeah,
we get
we don't know.
so, and I keep hearing more about these portal things might be connected to these things, and I don't know. I start going, whoa, man, because at first I was like, what? Until I'm hearing more and more people talking about it, and kind of making sense with some of the theories they're coming out with too, like that pop sound. Some people think
Yeah.
that's them coming in and out of a different realm, and I'm like, huh, they could be right because if you're a God believer and believe in Jesus, that sounds like it's something magical too, right? And spiritual connection to it if you're a believer.
Yep.
And
Yep.
who says these things can't do that kind of stuff, or maybe it might be connected to something like that, some other God's creation.
Well, the ancient texts and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and the Bible even also talks about it,
Yeah,
about the Nephilim and stuff like that, the fallen angels that come down and mated with men, women,
yeah,
animals, and all this other stuff. And
yeah. I'm open to that. I think there might be a possible connection to that. I think we're definitely not an evolution thing. I think we're more like a creation of God, and then God created a bunch of things, and maybe these fallen angels were trying to do what, like you said, coming down and messing with women and messing with animals. And I mean, there's an expert came forward saying they gotten DNA, and they said they found that there was a female human DNA, but father unknown. So I thought that was interesting.
yeah, yeah, I know all about that. And then they try to crucify her too.
Yeah. So you know who I'm talking about. I think she's pretty legit, and not
Well,
very, very
Scott
knowledgeable.
Carpenter and David Police and a bunch of others, they helped her with the research. They brought in samples and everything that they gathered, and they they stand behind her.
Yeah. I definitely do too, because when I watched her just explaining it, I was like, wow, it dropped my jaw. I was like, this is starting to sound more like it's connected to these Nephilim things, but I don't know. I don't know.
Well, Scott Carpenter, he believed it.
Yeah.
He believed it to the day he died.
Yeah, I'm leaning
He
more
was
towards
a
it too,
flesh and
so.
blood at first, then he changed.
Mhm. That's a sad thing. I really found his stuff interesting too. I wish I would have gotten him on the show, and I watched his YouTube channel, and I was like, wow, he's getting some pretty good stuff. And I love the technique he was doing with the camera behind his back, and never thought about that myself. So I'm like, huh, I'm gonna probably try that out myself. Put it on my backpack,
Yeah,
and so
yeah. When he come up with that technique, now that was a big eye opener and stuff.
yeah, I definitely was a good idea, and I'm starting to hear more and more researchers coming forward doing it too. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they wear cameras on front, back, shoulders.
Yeah, and what was the most? Well, actually, I'll ask you this. What do they look like to you? I mean, did you get good detail on them? Can you see their eyes at all, or did you ever have a good facial, detail you can, describe to us?
Yeah, I got a picture of the face.
Oh, okay, cool,
Yeah, I got a picture. We got a picture of the female's face with her sitting with a young one.
awesome. You'll have to share that if you're willing to share it in the group page if you don't mind.
Most people say as soon as I share it, oh, that is not real because you could put that in there with a
Oh,
computer.
well, you can just send it to me private if you want in my message if you don't want to share. You're going to deal with people like that. I've seen some
Well,
footage and pictures that
I've dealt with
people.
a lot of them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like I leave it to the people to judge, but when I see it, I'm like, I see something there. I can tell what's might been a mess with, but I don't know. I've seen a lot of pictures and videos come forward from some of my guests, and it kind of baffled me. I was like, whoa, they definitely have something there because it's pretty detailed. I don't see no CGI effect or AI effect to it. Uh, Man in a suit or anything like that. You kind of can
It
kind of tell now. So
it was tucked with my wife's cell phone because at the time we never had a camera. We just
yeah,
had her cell phone.
sometimes you don't have really
And
great quality cameras to take good pictures. I mean, they're getting better now on the phones nowadays, but the older phones, they were really hard to get good ones. I mean, I've gotten some videos and pictures I decide not to use because I'll probably deal with the same thing you said. I probably do. Oh, that's not a Bigfoot. I think it was. I caught something in the. I'll have to share with you in my private messenger, and I caught something down in the creek. It looked like something down there fishing. It was kind of a gray looking figure, and I was like,
There
oh
are great ones.
yeah, I'll have to share it with you sometime here. Remind me, and I'll send it to you.
Well, the picture it's in our group. It's posted in our group, and the easiest way to find it is go join the group and go in there, and it's there. All the a lot of our pictures is under the featured part.
Okay. And I think I think I joined your group. I'll have to go back and double check. I'm in so many groups right now. It's hard to keep
Me
up.
too.
Yeah, isn't it? There's a lot of them now, huh? A lot of podcaster group pages and researcher group pages, and there's all kinds. I'm like, wow. There's some that I left though because uh, people being really, like you said, being silly and
Trolls,
yeah, trolls and
bullies.
yeah, being,
I've left
you
a
know,
lot of groups from that, but I'm still like in about 80 groups.
oh yeah, yeah, I hear you there. I got quite a bit too. But yeah, I'll
I
go
get
there and check it out. And so what's your most recent research you done? Anything you done? I know it's cold. You probably haven't been out too much lately, but
was out right before Thanksgiving and first part of November.
oh really? So you got to get out a little bit. You had anything happen during that time or no?
Yeah, got
Okay.
a picture of one looking up over the grass. I got that picture of him, a picture of the same one 2 years ago in the same area.
Oh wow.
But he's got bigger now. He was a juvenile 2 years ago. Now he's pushing over 8 foot tall now.
Oh wow. So if you definitely keep at that, I bet you will get a little closer relationship with these things, you know. And I always wonder that with researchers out there, if they're getting a lot of activity, maybe they're building a little bit of a trust relationship with them. So that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, they're down there at Salt Fork. We go and stuff. Like I told you in the first encounter and stuff. When the female told me her name was Sally.
Oh, how was that, like a mind speak or?
Yeah, when I told
Oh,
you when we was coming down the road and I got the thought in my head that name was
okay.
Sally and was going to come out and show her hairy boobs.
Yeah, that's when I was wondering if it was a mind speak. So you
Yeah.
believe in the mind speak stuff then too?
Well, I've had them talk to me a few times.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I got a few people on the show that talked about having mind speak. To go back and I think it would have been Martha, and then there's a few other guests like on my show that definitely had some mind speak experience, and I find that fascinating and love to experience it myself someday. Hopefully.
Well, I don't usually don't tell them about it
Yeah, you got
because people
people.
think you're crazy.
Yeah, you're gonna deal with that. I mean, people thought I was crazy when I'm getting into this stuff, and I've had a lot of experience since I was a kid with odd things, like spirits and possible
Ghost.
Bigfoot. Yeah, I've dealt with what you called people call them this. I don't know if that's what they were, like shadow people.
Yeah.
I've seen quite a few of those throughout my life. I'm 40 years old now, and I've seen probably about at least 8 of those. They come and go, and I've always wondered what the heck is that. And
Yeah.
if it was something dark and evil, I would pray, and then I don't see it anymore. So sometimes I wonder if that was that something evil, because I haven't seen one ever again. But uh, definitely had felt energy around me. Sometimes negative energy and sometimes positive energy, and so I definitely believe in the spiritual realm. I definitely think there's something to it.
Yeah. There is. I've seen ghosts.
Oh,
I've
really?
had ghosts in two different places I've lived in. There's one right here in this place where I live at now.
Wow, you mind sharing a little bit of that with us?
Well, the ones was when my daughter was about 5 years old, six. About no, she was been about 4 or 5.
Okay.
We lived in a 2-story house, and the funeral home was right next door to it. And she kept talking to saying that we keep hearing her in her room talking to somebody. So I went in there and asked her one day. I said, "Who are you talking to? You talking to one of your imaginary friends?" She said, "No, I'm talking to Jessica." I said, "Who's Jessica?" She said, "It's a little girl. Her family her mom and dad got killed in this house when it burnt. And I'm like, really? Well, there was a third level in the house and big attic. I mean, you could stand up in the attic. And I never went up there. And so I went up there after she told me that, went up there, and the rafters and the boards up there were burnt
Oh wow.
where there had been a fire. And there was old newspapers stacked up there, and about 8 or 9 newspapers, and they were stacked in a pile like a triangle, rolled up and stacked. And I brought them downstairs because I wanted to look at them. They was old. It was from the 1940s and 50s, and I'm like, man,
Wow.
these are old newspapers.
That's awesome.
And my wife said, now you better take them back up there and put them where you found them and the way you found them. And I said, I will. Well, that night, I didn't take them back up there. Well, that night, well, the bathroom light come on. I'm like, is she going in there and turning the bathroom light on? My daughter? No. I get up and I go turn it off. Come out of the bathroom into the living room, then you had to come out of the living room into the hallway. Then the kitchen was down the hallway, and our bedroom was across the hallway. Well, here's the kitchen light on. Oh, no, I'm like, I know that light wasn't on when I went in there and turned the bathroom light off. So I go turn the kitchen light off. Coming back down the hallway to go to the back to the bedroom to go to bed. Well, here I see the bathroom light shining in the living room. So I go in there and I turn that one off. Come back in, and I got to go to bed. And I asked my daughter the next day, I said, come in here. I said, reach, turn that light on. And she was about 4 inches too short to reach the light switch. Okay. I was in the bathroom. I took her into the kitchen. I said, turn that light on. She's about 2 inches too short for that one. I'm like, what kept turning these flipping lights on and off? Well, that night, went back to bed. Later that night, I started doing it again. And I'm like, now I'm not going to play this game all night long, turning off lights. And I know she's not doing it. And I know my wife ain't doing it. She's in the bed. So I said, well, I guess I better take them newspapers and put them back where I got them from. I took the newspapers back up the next day, put them back exactly where I got them from. Never had no lights on and off no more after that. But she always kept talking to that little girl in her bedroom.
Wow, that's fascinating. I hear good and bad things when people encounter these spirits, and it's pretty interesting, because you're wondering if they don't know if they're gone, or they just, it's definitely something to look into, and to have the experience of it too. It's amazing.
Yeah, the Bigfoot thing, I mean, it's been crazy since we started getting into research and stuff. I think the female, she was the alpha female down there is the reason she was mind speaking. And I think she tagged us because ever since them couple trips to Salt Fork, it's like every time we go out to do research, there's always something happening.
That's amazing.
They're either walking around us or they're breaking branches or well, the weirdest thing was one night we was out there where I got the picture of the one 2 years apart. I used to hunt that area. I hunted it for like 30 some years. I knew every inch of that hunting area. It's called the Willard Marsh Wildlife Area. It's 1,700 acres. And we was out there one night researching, and we sitting there, and then all at once, there's no houses within a mile of any direction there. And you can't see no house light, no nothing. And all at once, there was just a big flash of light, like somebody took a camera with a flash on it and took a picture. Then it got really weird. started hearing this humming like noise. And I'm like, well, this is weird. And then my wife started getting sick, and she said, we got to go. And so we got up and left. But there was no cars, no nothing, no light source nowhere but this big flash of light. Then we was a couple weeks, I think it was a couple weeks later, we went back out there and trying to do another night of research. And it's dark. It's probably 10, close to 9:30, and we had a friend with us that night, and the same thing happened. A big flash of light. It just lit the whole woods and sky, everything up. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And he goes, what was that? I said, it's happened once before here. I said, I don't know what it is. He said, well, it's like somebody taking a picture with a camera with a big flash on it. And I'm like, yeah. I said, this is the second time it's happened here.
Wow.
He got spooked. Well, he followed us out there in his own vehicle. He said, well, I'm going to the house. I ain't staying here. And so he left. Then my wife was, she was walking around listening just up from me about 40 or 50 feet. And she goes, it's time to go. So we got in the car and left. Like I said, I've had some crazy stuff going on out researching Bigfoot.
Wow. That's amazing. What do you think that flash was?
I have no idea. I've never seen it in my time. I'm 58 years old, soon to be 59. I ain't never seen nothing like it in the woods. And I hunted day and night. I mean, I hunted squirrel, rabbit, deer, pheasant. During the night, I coon hunted. I never seen nothing like that in the woods. And I couldn't tell you if it was, like I said, right after the flash, then you started hearing like a humming, like how electric motor hums. And
Wow.
I'm like, there's no houses. And like I said, some places it's almost 3 miles to the nearest house, and other places over a mile. In any direction out there, it's at least the less it is a mile to a house.
Oh wow.
It's in the middle of nowhere, all gravel roads.
Yeah, I find that interesting because I've heard people give reports of seeing orbs and flashes and hearing metallic sounds, and some people think it's either a portal opening up or something else going on with UFOs, maybe. But I don't know. I always hear something similar to portals when I hear these descriptions of these flashes and orbs.
Well, I thought that's I had the same thought, but I didn't want to believe in that stuff. But like after thinking about it for a while, after it happened twice, I'm like, was that? Well, it looked like like you're sitting in a pitch black room and somebody's in the other room. There's a door, and there's the light source is behind the door, but you don't see it until the door swings open, then it shuts back.
Hmm.
That's what it seemed like it did, and I'm like, I don't know.
It's a crazy world we live in. Once you get into this stuff, it's opening your mind, and you're more aware of things, and you know that there's more to it. And I think you start to experience more things as time goes, especially researchers like yourself. I feel like it starts getting more active activity stuff going on with the woo factor that people like to call it. Uh, I definitely think there's something to it because at first, like I said, when I got into this back then, I was thinking no way, and until I started hearing more and more people's encounters, research, and watching shows on it, my mind's open to it now. I'm like, whoa, there's something going on here.
It definitely.
So I think that's awesome that you're experiencing that, and hopefully they're always friendly encounters with these creatures. And uh, I I think that's awesome that you got like a good active area. So
Yeah, we have pretty decent areas. I mean, They did come right here in the backyard of where we live until they cut the woods down.
Yeah, that's a shame that we keep logging around. I'm not a tree hugger. I know we got to have wood to build things, and I'm thinking we're got technology where we can do better with building. But yeah, I live right next to a logging company's field of trees over here. They log and they regrow trees, which is awesome. But it's owned this land over here next to me. It's owned by a logging company. I'm basically on the foothills of Mount Hood of the national forest, and I do believe there's a group of these things living across the canyon, and that's where I've been having some activity. So, but I got to get permission to be able to go on their property over there. Hopefully, someday I can.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're out in Oregon and out west out there. You should have pretty good clans of them out there.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of reports up here in Mountain Hood National Forest. I've had a few people come forward, and they're not ready to come on the show to talk about it because they're a little spooked up about it, and plus they are worried about being ridiculed or anything like that, and uh, I understand they're not ready. Hopefully someday they will be, because what they told me was fascinating and freaky at the same time. Some of the descriptions they told me, some had like encounters with the red looking ones and brown ones that look like patty. Uh, and there's a particular one that this guy told me about that looked like what they call the dog man. That one's really freaky. That one, I'm like, whoa. When I start hearing more and more about this dogman creature, I start to wonder, what is that? Is it connected with Bigfoot or something else?
They're different. They're like a werewolf.
Yeah, that's freaky.
I've run into them a couple times.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Man,
they're not fun.
yeah. We'll have
Not fun
to
at all.
we'll have to do another episode on that if you'd like to share it with us. But yeah, I've definitely heard a lot of people had some pretty intense encounters with these things, and some people say there's like Bigfoot, there's like two or maybe three types of these things.
Well, there's Bigfoot. I know there's many types, but the natives always said they was five types.
Yeah.
And other researchers said there's five types. The dogmen I don't know a lot about, but I know I've encountered me and my wife and a couple other people's encountered them a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking into him. If you go back and check my episode, you might have heard Matt Imch. He's got a pretty intense dogman encounter on there. You can find it probably on my Spotify better than YouTube, because I don't think I have it on there yet. But it's
He's from Akron, Ohio, wasn't he?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was a pretty
yeah.
intense one that he told me about. It was pretty amazing. I was like, whoa. It was definitely
Akron's
scary.
only like 50 some miles from here.
Wow. See, I think these things are everywhere, because I've been
Yep.
told about them being seen up in my woods, and I had a few weird situations when I'm out there hiking, but I never seen anything. But you felt like there was something there, and when I felt that, I felt like I had to leave. And this happened usually when I was by myself, so I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna stick around, so I leave.
Yeah, his is well known encounter from Akron, but there's another known encounter in 1980. It was in the 80s, which is about 40 some miles to the southwest of me in a town called Bucyrus. And that was the first one that I'd ever heard about a dog man encounter.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, I'd like to get more people coming forward about some dogman encounters, because I find it interesting and it's important to hear more about it so you can, put the puzzle together and figure out what these things are. We may never know, but maybe someday we will, because it's like, is it something that's been here? Is it something demonic, or is it something that the government created? Who knows?
Who knows?
So, so I have a theory with that too. I sometimes think maybe they have captured Bigfoots and they did some experiments with them, and who knows what happens after that.
Oh, they know all about Bigfoot. They've
Oh,
had
oh yeah,
bodies. They have teams that goes out and takes out the aggressive ones. They've got teams of scientists that communicate with them and everything.
yeah, I believe it. I mean, I've heard stories where researchers like yourself or people that are encountering these things, they would have certain vehicles following them after they were getting more evidence of things, and that makes you wonder. Like the Men in Black is what they call them.
Yeah, I know a couple people that's had that done to them.
Wow.
Scott Carpenter was one, and I know people, two researchers right now. That's one's in West Virginia and one is in Tennessee that they've been followed.
Oh wow. Well, yeah, you'll have to, if you ever have anybody else that would be interested in coming on, send them my way. I love to hear their research or their encounter. So definitely,
Will do.
I definitely enjoyed having you on. What I want to do, Tim, is 'cause I know you have a lot to say and more to say because usually researchers usually do. So, if you're willing, I'd love to bring you back for some future episodes if you're interested, and we'll set it up down the road.
Yeah, we can do that.
Awesome. So I really appreciate. I don't want to take up too much of your time. We hit about an hour, and I really enjoy having you on. And maybe down the road too, I'll be in my house and have my internet set up, and we can actually do a webcam and see each other on there, and it'd be pretty cool for a YouTube channel as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Anytime you want here in the near future, just let me know. It's been an honor to be on your show, and thank you for asking me to come on.
Yeah, let people know where to find you. Let them know where to look you up and check your research out.
On Facebook, it's Ohio Bigfoot Researchers is the group. Please answer all questions, or you will not become a member. And on YouTube, it's Ohio Bigfoot Researchers.
Awesome. I really appreciate you coming on, Tim. I really enjoyed chatting with you, and I definitely be calling you a friend, man, because I feel like we connected there and talking. So, and I really was interested in hearing what you had to say. So,
Yeah,
thank you for
yes,
coming
sir.
on.
We're friends, buddy.
All right. Well, you have a great day and stay warm over there.
You too.
Take care.
And talk to you later.
All right. Take it easy. Bye.
Yeah, take it easy, man. Bye.
Well, guys, that was the show. I really was honored to have Tim Gayheart on the show. Be sure to check him out. I've heard him before on some other podcast shows, like I said in the beginning. It was awesome, and I definitely am going to be bringing him back on as another friend to have in the cryptid world and research world. That's what I love about doing this, reaching out, making new friends, like-minded people. And what's cool is you bring them forward, and they admit they have an open mind to these things, and that's what I love to hear from researchers. So that was awesome to have Tim on, and he has some pretty interesting experience, and he's a knower, and I'll definitely bring him back on how many he's seen. Definitely going to be quite a few episodes to bring on, and it's just another friend in this world. Hopefully, I'll make more and make friends with you as well, my friends. I hope you're all doing great and enjoying the show. Give me feedback. Let me know what you think of my show. I hope you enjoy it. Don't be afraid to comment, and please on YouTube subscribe. Hit that bell so you know when an episode drops. Like I said to Tim earlier, eventually when I get better service, I'm gonna do actual live shows and where you can see me and the guests talking as well, and have the audio version for the Spotify and all that. So I'll make it more interesting for you guys because I seem to see people like to see that and be able to see the people's expression when they're telling their story or their research or whatever. So please, a huge favor you can do for me is share the show. Share the show with your friends, your enemies, anybody. I don't care. Just share it. It'll be really appreciated so people can check it out and bring it up in the chart. So on YouTube, hit subscribe, bell, comment, share with your friends and family. Spotify, please hit that follow button and then rate it 5 stars, please. I need more of those. I'm not really getting much. I got a lot of followers, but not enough on the 5 stars. If you guys would even give me 4, that'd be great, but I prefer 5. Please comment on there. Let me know what you think of the show and people's research. I really appreciate you guys, your support. More to come. So my mind's opening up more too, guys. I'm starting to think differently about things as I grow. I feel like you get wiser on this, looking into the cryptid world. You start to understand people's views and all that stuff, and people that are really cool. It's like, that's a shame. I leave it to you. I leave it to you to judge. So until next time, Let's explore the truth together. Have a great one, y'all.